Of business is constantly changing. One moment you're making a profit and the next rolling blackouts cripple your income. A report by DeLoitte recently showing that having a crisis management plan can drastically reduce financial fallout. It makes sense, doesn't it? Having contingency plans for the unexpected is now even more important. Sandra Beswick is from Fluence Capital, who's allowing us to pick her brain, and she joins us virtually from here in Johannesburg. Sandra, thank you so much for your time. I suppose when giving businesses advice in this regard in South Africa, it's a very, very important conversation because there are just so many eventualities that you have to prepare for. We started this conversation wanting to think about the impact of load shedding as well as water shedding. Now you've got businesses in Cape Town who this week are dealing with large numbers of staff who can't get to and from work because there's a massive taxi strike there. When talking to your clients in South Africa, how do you even start that conversation of what they should be preparing for?
As we said in the article, you should have a contingency plan to be prepared for any eventuality that may happen. Ask the hard questions. Have I got enough cash to last me in case of load shedding continuing? I won't be able to produce my goods to sell. You understand the risks of not having a plan. Develop a communication plan with the employees. Understand your cash flow requirements. That's the most important one, and as far as I'm concerned, is avoiding a cash crunch, is to have sufficient cash flow to carry you over. I mean, the contingency plan, as you said, is particularly applicable in this environment, the South African economic landscape at this point in time. We have a lot to deal with, not only water and load shedding, but also spiraling interest rates, inflation rates, soaring fuel and living costs, and all the other, hazards that we live with on a day-to-day basis.
Now, according to research by the University of the Western Cape, South Africa is one of the highest startup failure rates in the world, with 70% to 80% of businesses failing within 5 years. I suppose also when you are giving people advice about their contingency plans, it also depends on where they are in their journey as a business, because advice to an established corporate or business would be very different to your advice to somebody who's starting out.
My advice to people starting out is that don't take all the cash out of the business. Keep it in as long as possible. I know it's very difficult to save. Even as consumers, we're finding it difficult to save. But don't just take out all the money out of the business. Rather retain it in the business and ask as I said, the critical questions. Ask for help. There are a number of people that can assist you. It's very hard to go on the journey alone. Speak to employees if you have employees, and get advice from your financial services providers, from your banks, from your government departments have a lot of mentorship programs. People like us can also offer advice, and we're happy to offer free advice if they're so required.
And I suppose you would say that timing is indeed everything, that people in these various situations, contingency planning is one thing, but also asking for help should be done sooner rather than later.
Yes, absolutely, because as a business rescue practitioner, we find that people don't ask for help. They're often in denial and thinking that the next big deal or the next cash will come into my business and I'll be saved. But that's not the truth. Ask for advice and, recognize that your company might be in financial distress and take action. Rather be proactive than reactive. And that can mean saving the business or letting it go into liquidation, which we can't afford in this country. We need to preserve all the small businesses that we can, because they are the ones that employ people. You won't find the big corporates employing people. It's mostly from the small business sector.
How would you suggest your contingency plan fits in, or should I ask it this way? Can your contingency plan fit in with your strategy plan or your business growth plan?
Yes, it can be part of it. It's a vital part of it. And as I said, a plan is a plan. It will always change. So it's not something, like your strategy, like your other plans, it's not something that should be kept in the drawer. It should be looked at regularly and updated according to what's happening. Because as we said, everything is changing all the time. That's the one consistency that we have, is change.
Okay, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for that advice on this Friday afternoon. Sandra Beswick is from Fluence Capital and joins us virtually from here in Johannesburg. We thank her for that advice this afternoon.